great about that, other than trying to help people who are in a state of invasion.
I'm on mute. Can you guys hear me? What a great beginning to that Immigration Answer Show. Can you guys hear me okay, Huli? All right. I don't know what happened. It sort of shorted out when the music changed over. How's everybody doing? Today is October 16th, and this is episode 928 of the Immigration Answer Show. My name is James O. Hacking III. I will be here for the next 45 minutes trying to answer your questions on TikTok and on YouTube and on Facebook and LinkedIn. I'm going to try to remind you guys a lot of this. On November 1st, we will no longer send out text related to going live. You're going to have to find out from the show before, or we're going to email people when we go live. It costs us, I just found out, $1,800 a month to send out the text. We're not going to do that anymore. So we will post it. So if you subscribe to the YouTube channel and turn on the alerts, you'll find out. Or we'll post it in the Immigrant Home Facebook group, which you can join, or you can get on our email list, and we'll send out a special email each time we're going live. I hope that makes sense. How's everybody doing? Let me turn on the comments, and let me get started talking to Bellarina. Hello.
Oh, hey, Jim. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm great, thanks.
It's such a, Jim, you're such a lifesaver. I've been on this immigration journey since 2020, and every time I have an immigration crisis, in quotes, I, I've been lucky that you've had a show that I could call in and ask a question.
Nice.
Today's one such day. So let me I've written down my question. Let me read that out. So I had my, I'm on my, I applied for N400.
Great.
I had my interview a little over a week ago, and I received a notice this morning that my oath is scheduled for a date in the first week of November. Unfortunately, I'm out of the country on that day, so I called the 1-800 number and asked to be rescheduled. So my question is there anything else I need to do?
Yeah.
Like, should I write a letter? Yeah.
Cancel your trip and come back for your ceremony is what you should have done.
Oh, is this bad?
Yeah, that was dumb.
Now I've already called them.
Yeah.
Now, if I call them, and it would probably confuse them if I were to.
Yeah. What did they say?
They have very limited visibility and ways to help on the 1-800 number. It's not like talking directly to the office, right? So they said that all they can do is they can send, like, do something on their end to send a message to the field office that they will reschedule my oath. They didn't give any option to, like, tell them the dates that I'm away or anything like that. So I actually thought tomorrow morning to drive down to the field office and, like, try to talk to somebody, see if I can get scheduled for an oath before my trip. Or I saw online on Facebook that there's a oath date just after my trip, to see if I could schedule something with them, like, in person.
I like that a lot better than calling. You're not going to get any kind of firm resolution, and then you might just not show up, and then they might cancel you, and then you might wait a year for your citizenship.
Oh, dear.
So I like the idea of going down.
Is there a chance to talk to someone, or would they just turn me away?
Well, you should make an InfoPass appointment. So call USCIS and tell me you need to make an InfoPass appointment.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I doubt that I'll get something, because I've tried this before, and they were like, it takes several, like, weeks or months sometimes to get an InfoPass.
Right. Yeah. So then I would go ahead and just pay and just I would go ahead and just show up there if they won't give you a pass.
Okay, I'll do that. Okay. Oh, I should have. I don't know why I called them in like a
Yeah,
panic
to me,
almost.
whatever trip you have planned isn't as important as becoming a U.S. citizen these days.
That is true. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for all your advice, Jim.
Okay. Let us know when you get your citizenship so we can add you to the list.
For sure, I will do that.
Okay. Bye. All right. All right. Anyone who wants to get on our emails, we'll set up a landing page by Monday where you can put in your email address and you'll start getting an email. It'll just be a separate email about going live each day. That's it, with a link. Okay. So that's how we'll do that. There's one other thing that I'm supposed to deal with. Let's go to green card pending and then I'll talk about that. Hi, green card pending.
Hi, Jim. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing good. I would like to thank you for all this information you given to
Sure.
immigrants community. So I'm gonna tell you just a little bit about my case. So I came as a refugee through IOM. I think you're familiar with refugees, how they came to US.
Yep.
So in 2022, I came here, and after a year, I applied for a green card. Me and my family were 7 cases, like 2 parents, 5 brothers. And since that time, we gave all things they asked for, like let's say more evidence. And in May 1st, they changed the status of my case to ready to schedule for an interview.
Mm-hmm.
So is there any risk for us, or like what's my situation right now? So
What do
I
you mean?
have one brother, he got his green card without any interview. So the others just
When did that happen?
my brother,
Mm-hmm.
I believe last November, so a year ago.
So who was president last November?
What is it?
Who was president last November?
Biden, Joe Biden.
Who's president now?
Donald Trump.
That's why you have an interview.
Oh, okay. So for refugees, is there any risk to deny interview?
Yeah. Especially with the Trump people. So let's operate from this assumption. The Trump people think refugees are all coming here to steal, kill, hurt people. That's why they've done away with all refugee processing, right? They also think that half the people who are here in the United States, excuse me, who came as refugees, aren't even really who they say they were. So they're going to go over all of your cases with a fine-tooth comb. And I've seen 2 denials for citizenship in the past 2 weeks where people didn't list membership in a group that they put in their refugee paperwork. So, in the refugee paperwork, they ask you to list all the groups you've been a member of or all the reasons why you fear going back home, all that stuff. And then people don't list that on their N400. And then they say, ha, 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 you lied. You told us that you were a member of this group when you applied as a refugee, but now you're applying for citizenship. We asked you what members were you ever a group of, and you didn't say any. So I would say everybody probably needs a lawyer, but more importantly, they need to go over their refugee paperwork very, very carefully.
Okay. So I'm from Syria, so the situation in Syria, the government changed. So I think they're gonna ask me like, "Are you feel free?"
No, they shouldn't revisit the issue of whether you should have ever been a refugee or whether that probably can't fly. But if they can find a way to make it look like you're a liar, that's what they're going to go for.
Yeah, I think like my case like straightforward. There's not any like things to worry about it, but just during this time it's hard,
So go over your app, go over all your paperwork, and make sure you don't forget anything. It's all just going to be about forgetting something. It's not because you're doing something wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not gonna be hard interview. Do you think?
I didn't say that. I didn't say it wasn't going to be a hard interview. I think it is going to be a hard interview.
Oh, okay.
That's what you keep saying. I didn't say that.
So the second question, what is the timeline for that? So I've been 2 years applied for the green card. So
My understanding is that the Trump people have paused the processing or the final decision making on green cards filed by people who came as refugees or who got asylum in the United States. So I think you might have your interview, but I don't know if you're going to get a decision right away.
So when should I start worry about it? Like now, until now, 2 years. Let's say, should I wait a year if there's no change? Or, like,
Yeah. After your interview, yeah, I'd say 6 months, 8 months, something like that.
Okay. Jim, how much does it cost to hire, like for the interview? Let's say
Where is it?
Atlanta.
Yeah, so usually it'd be like 2,000 plus travel.
For the family case, like 7 people.
How many
So-
different days of interviews?
I think we're gonna be the same day. So
Well, let's wait and see what happens. Send me the notices when you get them, and we can talk about it.
all right, sounds good.
Thanks, brother.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Good day. For sure. All right, let's go to Mary. Hello.
Jim.
Oh, hello.
Hello, Jim.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. I have a question. I have a attorney that I hired, immigration attorney,
Yeah.
to file for citizenship.
Okay.
And he did a FOI or FOA
Smart.
to look at my immigration records.
That was smart.
Everything was great.
Good.
And he asked me if I've ever been arrested. Yes, I have. Juvenile from 30 years ago. I have been a green card holder for the past 40 years.
40 years.
And yes, 40 years.
Wow.
I built a beautiful life here in the United States. I have a great career. I went to school. I got my degree. My character have changed. I've did so much in my community, but I cannot deny that 30 years ago, it was a complete different story with me. I changed my whole life around.
Good for you.
Okay. So the attorney, I was very honest. I said, yeah, I have been arrested. And he said, okay, why don't you go to the courts and get a disposition for all your past arrests, which no drugs, just misdemeanors. And my ex-husband, we had a very ugly divorce, domestic violence. He was very abusive to me. First, I got a restraining order against him. And for him to see the kids, he went and got a restraining order himself. And it got very ugly. And he ended up they arrested him for violation of the restraining order. And at the next point of time, a confrontation with him, I got arrested for his restraining order of a violation. And the attorneys, they looked over all of this and they said, this is not the right time to apply for citizenship with this current administration. So I said, okay. So I said, let me get a second advice from you. I wanted to travel and I traveled before, it was no issues at all. When I say travel back to my home country, it was never an issue, but I'm afraid to travel now. I do have a home back home that I'm afraid to travel back home to. My biggest fear is returning back, being admitted back into the United States because of something that happened 30 years ago. The arrest from 30 years ago. So what is your opinion about all my situation, please?
Great. So I have a couple questions. How did you get your green card?
My parents filed for me, and in the 1980s.
And is the reason that you've waited to apply for citizenship because of these disputes that you had with your ex-husband?
Yes, yes, yes.
And when you were describing the things that happened, you made it sound like more than one or two things. How many different like court events or police events were there?
I believe I pulled up. I went to the courts, and there, I believe 7 events. Seven
Seven.
events. Yeah.
Okay. So I think you're smart not to travel. I think that, okay, so let me tell you what happens when people leave the United States, like in a situation like this, okay? So when they leave and they try to come back or they come through customs, think of it like a stoplight: yellow light, red light, green light, right? So green light is come on in, all is well, go about your business, go be a happy green card holder. Red light is, yeah, dude or lady, this is so bad, we're not going to let you in, and you get the red light, we're not letting you in. That's very rare for a long-time green card holder, okay? What would probably happen instead, if they're worried about it, either they're going to let you in or they're going to give you what's called deferred inspection. Now, I guess in theory they might not let you in, but I think the chances of that are small. So when you get deferred inspection, they physically allow you into the United States, but they don't admit you into the United States. And what they do is they say, hey, Mary, we're a little bit concerned about these criminal matters, 7 criminal matters you have from long ago. We aren't sure if you're admissible into the United States. We think that maybe one of these crimes renders you not eligible to re-enter the United States, not to be treated as a green card holder anymore. This is all because of a law in 96. Well, that's a good point too. Were these crimes before 1996?
Yes, it was from 1992, 1992, and 1994, and after that, my domestic violence issues with the ex-husband, and another very small, nothing to the attorneys looked. They said nothing to the judge, the prosecutor. They never put like a 1 year. If it's under 1 year, you're safe. They never give you a 1 year sentence. So that's good. But the thing is, when I was looking to travel, which was not too long ago, I applied for the global entry, and the CBP officer, they gave me appointment. And when I went to the appointment with the CBP, they did my fingerprints and everything. And I believe 2 months later, they said, well, we cannot approve you for global entry because we need all the court dispositions from your prior arrests. So that's what I did. I uploaded everything in the CBP online, and now it's all in reconsideration. The CBP officer said, "You don't have anything to worry about, Miss. You can travel, but we see something in your background from decades ago that we are going to need to see the court disposition." So what the attorney told me to do is do a FBI fingerprint. And that's what I did. I got fingerprinted with the FBI, and the records came back, and I submitted everything to the CBP online, and I'm waiting for the reconsideration if they can approve me for the global entry.
Okay. So clearly they've flagged it, they've seen it, they know about it. So what I was going to say is they might let you physically in the United States, but they would give you something called deferred inspection. And what they would say is, Mary, we're going to parole you in for 60 days. And during those 60 days, you need to gather up all of your criminal stuff and bring it back to us here at CBP and convince us that you didn't lose your green card because of these crimes when you left the United States.
Okay.
So to me, this history from 30 years ago is really crimping your lifestyle in several ways. It's keeping you from maybe becoming a citizen when you could be. It might be keeping you from traveling with peace of mind. So if I were you, what I would do is I would hire an attorney, not necessarily me, because we really don't like doing these just because we're so busy, but trying to find an attorney to analyze all of your crimes before and after 1996 to say, yes, it's safe to apply for citizenship, or no, it's not safe to apply for citizenship. Yes, it's safe to travel, or no, it's not safe to travel. Then if you do travel, hopefully you would have a legal memorandum, like you would have to give them in deferred inspection with copies of all of your criminal stuff that says, yo, let Mary in, she's admissible, here's why.
Okay. What is the type of attorney? Would it be an immigration attorney or a criminal attorney?
Immigration.
Okay. Well, I did spend thousands of dollars with this attorney, and didn't think it was wise at this moment, right now, presently,
Yeah.
with everything that's going on in the country.
Yep. You might just sit tight. You might just sit tight and see what happens.
Yes. They said, you know what? We do see they analyzed my whole immigration profile. They do see that I am a very productive member in my community. They see all this, but they very worried that a little small misstep, and right now, and this current times,
Yep.
that to hold on tight. I
Also,
do.
there's also you could go back and try to undo one of the convictions if it's problematic.
Okay, what type of attorney would handle this for me?
That would be a criminal lawyer.
Okay, a criminal lawyer. Okay, so it's hard for me to, when I Google online and I call, I speak to a few attorneys. I mean, everybody asks, give me $500 consultations, might drive me bankruptcy, every attorney that I would like to speak with to look at this for me. It's a fee. I did speak to other attorneys, consultate a lot of consultation fees. Some attorneys say, yeah, why not, apply for your citizenship?
That's
And
dumb.
and I have this other attorney said, no, no. So I just want to know what is the proper avenue to go with. I do have a property in my home country that I don't want to lose. I don't know which step to take. I have my father in my home country that is very old and sick, and I feel stuck. I don't know what to do.
So I would say, unless you're willing to pay $5,000 to an attorney to research and write it up and put their name behind it, their malpractice insurance behind it, I think you just sit tight while Trump's in office.
Okay.
Thanks, Mary. Good luck.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. All right, listen, I forgot to tell you guys, at 3:30, we're going to have a friend of mine. Her name is Evelyn. She's an immigration attorney in Canada. So we're going to talk a little bit about options for people who sort of run out of options in the United States. She's a good friend, a good immigration lawyer. She's from up in, I think, Saskatchewan or Calgary. No, she's in Calgary. And we'll talk to Evelyn at the bottom of the hour at 3:30. Right, Huli? Let's go to Raj. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Raj.
Hi, Jim.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thanks for calling. Thanks for adding me, Jim.
Sure.
I have been watching your show for a while.
Nice.
I have few questions regarding my green card immigration case. So I want to tell you my background before I say.
Great.
So I came as a student visa like 2022.
Okay.
And then I completed my master's. So I met a girl, and then we've been dating for a quite while, and then we decided to get married.
Great.
But after 6 months, she was giving me hard time. Like she was requesting me to buy stuff, and then everything. Like, I was jobless. My brothers were sponsoring me, so I could not do much for her. And then eventually I just wanted to end the relationship, so I filed for my divorce. I did not file any immigration case with her or any benefits. So it was just a quick marriage, but then after 6 months, I just ended my divorce. I just ended my marriage. But then after few months, I met one more girl. I dated her for almost like 8 months, and then we both decided to get married, but we were waiting for our divorce to get finalized.
You're divorced.
Yeah, the first marriage divorce. But
Yep.
after we got divorced, like I got divorced like last this year July 15th or 20th, in between. And then after a month I got married to this girl, my second girlfriend, like I met. And then I filed my I-130 with her after that, like probably a month before. And then I'm waiting for my medical examine, and then I want to file my I-4852 with her. But I just have a question regarding my first marriage. What if they raise a question regarding that?
They will.
Yeah, so do I need to be honest that she kept me into a trap, and she was asking me more money every time I met her? And
Yeah.
then
But how are you going to prove? How are you going to prove that? And
I have
what
I have messages.
most importantly, what's going to happen when she knocks on when they knock on her door and
Okay,
ask her to dump on old Raj?
okay.
What's going to happen?
She can tell that we got married, and then, he filed for a divorce. She don't wanted to, but then, I don't want to continue it with her. I was like,
But what if she says? What if she says he only married me to get a green card?
that's not the case because I have messages of her.
You didn't answer my question.
Yeah.
What happens if she tells USCIS that you only married her to get a green card? And what if she says bad stuff about you?
Hmm. But I have all my chats with her. I never had anything regarding the green card or my immigration case than just about love and, meeting with her. I
Are you,
never.
is your
Okay.
student visa over?
Yeah, that's like my second question. So before, at the moment I filed my I-130, I don't wanted to go out of status, but my university, I haven't mailed them like for a year after I got my OPT, so they kind of removed my profile from their system. So I wanted my STEM OPT to get approved to get my I-20 from my university. When I contacted my university, they did not provide me any I-20 for my STEM OPT, so I could not continue my status because of that.
Well, whose fault is that? Your fault or the university's fault?
University's fault, because I had my offer letter, but then my company wanted an I-20, like present I-20 from my university.
Wait. Let's back up. So you came here to
Okay.
the United States for a master's degree, right?
Who?
You came to the United States for a
Yes,
master's degree.
yes, I did.
So when did you finish your studies and start OPT on your
2024. So
so
sorry, 23 ending. So 2024 I was on OPT.
okay.
Recently I got out of status. Probably like 30 days. Not even 30 days.
No. I
Okay.
disagree. So your OPT would have ended like in December or January of 2025, right?
No, it got ended this year to September 3. So September 3, yeah.
So okay. So your OPT ran from September of 23 to September of 24.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
25 this
So-
year. This is 25, yeah. 24 to 25.
Okay. So in June, July, August, September, did you work with the school to get your STEM OPT?
I did mail them recently in July. No, sorry, August. At the start of August,
What
saying
did
that I need.
you
Sorry.
mail them? What did you mail in August?
I did mail that I got an offer letter from a company to extend my STEM OPT. I want my I-20, like a present I-20, recent I-20, and then they say you can log in it to your student portal. When I was going to my student portal, they were not letting me in. Then when I contacted my administration saying that I can't log in with my current login details, they said, sorry to say you that, but we don't have your profile no more since you did not log in for a year.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Okay, so in any event, this is what I have. I got a
Okay.
guy who is out of status,
Yes, sir.
who's on his second marriage,
Okay.
who's going to file his 485 separately from his I-130, which was dumb, and
Okay.
who's going to file his 485 while he's out of status. So these are all fraud markers. So when someone gets married out of status, that's the number one list of fraud indicators according to USCIS.
Okay.
So they are going to look at your case very hard, and they're going to begin their analysis by trying to get your first wife to shit all over you and say you're a bum and you only married her to get a green card. And once you realize you weren't going to get a green card from her, you bounced, got divorced, and married a second person. So this is a tough case. Not saying, and you said you have texts and stuff. That's really helpful.
Okay.
But I don't know if you're going to be able to make that argument yourself. I think you probably need a lawyer to get you ready, to get your spouse ready. And I would, if I were your lawyer, I would get your 45 out the door as fast as possible, because that I-130 out there isn't protecting you at all. You're subject to deportation right now.
Yeah.
So the all the I-130 did was notify them, hey, Raj is still in the United States, motherfuckers, and he's screwing around, not filing the right paperwork, so you better come get him. So priority is get the 45 on file.
Yes, sir.
And then after that, have a lawyer go talk to your ex-wife and say, hey, would you be willing to sign a statement that says this was a real marriage, it just didn't work out, in the hopes of keeping them from going to knock on her door?
Okay. So
they're going to be very suspicious because you got married again so quickly and then applied for an immigration benefit.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Raj.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time.
You got it. Thank you. All right. I want to show you guys a message we got on TikTok. Hello, TikTok friends. How are you guys? Yeah, Cat Attack says, this guy marries anything that walks, but also said, everything is someone else's fault. I think that's right. Jim, someone is hacking you on TikTok pretending to be you. Yes, that's true. Please notify TikTok that there is a fake account. Don't do it to my account. Do it to the fake account. The fake account has 300,000 followers. I only have 100, so I think it's a bot and sophisticated, lots of stupid shit. Anyway, I want to show you guys this text that I got, or this message we got on TikTok. I'm going to read it to you, okay? Sir, I have flown several times within the U.S. using my expired Venezuelan passport. Venezuelan passports are valid for 5 additional years after expiration. I'm currently waiting for my adjustment of status and my green card, so I don't have any valid immigration status at the moment. Traveling has actually been pretty easy. TSA agents sometimes aren't familiar with the Venezuelan passport extension, but since it's the only form of ID I can use at the airport, my driver's license is expired, and I can't renew it without a work permit or a green card. They usually call a supervisor, verify the information, and then allow me to proceed to the gates without issue. With all due respect, I believe it's important not to spread misinformation that creates unnecessary fear among Latino immigrants in the U.S. I know these are difficult times, but there are some things we really need to make sure are accurate before sharing. And, obviously we took out all that person's identifying information. So here are my thoughts on messages like this. Let's say there's a bridge, and it's a very canyon that you want. It's a very old bridge, a very dangerous bridge. And let's say giving out tickets who wants to go on the free. Here's your ticket. Here's Juli's ticket. Here's Rahul's ticket. Here's Deo's ticket. Here's True Wife's ticket. Here's No King's ticket. So Rahul runs across the bridge. Deo gets across the bridge. Oh, am I breaking up?
Yes,
Hello?
you're breaking up. Maybe because you're sharing the screen.
Oh, I'll stop sharing the screen. Thank you.
Okay, welcome. Bye.
Bye. Let me know if it doesn't fix. So everybody get across the bridge. So AP said, please start again. Oh wait, hold on. Julie's still waving. Still bad? Okay. Why don't you entertain the troops? I'll run downstairs and switch over to my laptop.
Perfect. I'll do so. So, hi everyone. Juli's here again. The squirrel attacking. So, well, first of all, remember if you're looking to hire an attorney to help you with your case, feel free to reach us at 314-961-8200. Okay, if you're looking for guidance, remember we have the show. Jim does it 4 to 5 times a week, 1.5 hours per day. Am I breaking too? Hi, everyone. Thanks for the hi in the comments. Let me know if I'm breaking too, because I see like my screen going a little bit slow. So, well, I'll keep talking. So, everyone that participates on the show, remember that this is a public show. Okay, please to use, we recommend to use a nickname. Okay, don't turn on your camera, have your microphone on, have your questions written down so you don't miss this valuable time that you have with Jim. Remember that it's hard to come in because a lot of wants to talk to him. So get ready, be prepared, okay? Well, if you have anything, any other questions or doubts, remember that we have over 1,000 videos in our YouTube channel, and we also have this awesome community on Facebook, okay, that you can participate, share your experience, and vice versa for everyone. So, boss is back.
All right, all right. Is this better?
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Juli. So getting back to my example, there are, just because 99 people go to the airport using their 5-year-old Venezuelan passport to go from Kansas City to Seattle doesn't mean that it's going to work for everybody. That's, I think, one of the biggest mistakes people make when it comes to immigration is they think, well, I know this one guy in California who did it this way, so it's guaranteed to work for me. That's the problem. That's the problem. So you can't you can't make a rule out of one person's experience. You can't make a rule out of one person's experience. That's right. So I, as a lawyer, my job is to assume the worst and to try to protect you and prevent the worst. So I hope people don't think I'm scaring people. That's certainly not my intention. You can do whatever the fuck you want. Go wherever you want, fly wherever you want. You know, whatever you want to do, go for it. I'm just trying to tell people what I think is safe and smart, right? All right, Rahul, hello.
Hello, Jim.
How
Can you
are
hear
you?
me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I'm fine. I'm fine. So I'm from India and my wife is from Philippines. We have a 10-year age gap. I'm Hindu and she is Catholic. She is currently US citizen. First, we applied K1 visa on January 2025, and I gave the officer 2 wrong questions, I believe, and gave 3 right questions. But the officer thought that our relationship is not genuine, and she sent the petition back to the USCIS for revocation.
Yep.
And fast forward, we got married this year, last month, and we are planning to file I-130. So My question is, what's the best evidence that shows that marriage is real when the beneficiary is outside the U.S.?
How did your wife become a U.S. citizen?
She got married to a U.S. citizen, like long time back, and she was divorced since like 10 years.
So you know they don't like that, right? They don't like it. They don't like it when somebody gets a green card and citizenship by marrying someone and then turns around, divorces that person, and marries a new person. They don't like that. They hold that to higher standard.
No, but she was like not in any relationship since like 10 years.
I know you told me that, but I just want
Yeah,
you to. I want you. So if you were my client, I would
Okay.
I would beat you down until you agree with these things that I'm saying, because you have to get your mind right. You think you have arguments to overcome these things. What I'm telling
Okay.
you is the
Okay.
State Department and USCIS don't like it when somebody gets their citizenship through marriage and then tries to sponsor someone else. It's almost the same thing as if you sponsored one spouse and then later on sponsored another. I think it might even, in their words, be worse, right? Okay.
Right.
Okay.
I
So that's
get it.
number one. Number one.
Yeah.
Number two. Did she consular process or did she adjust status when she got her green card?
Counselor.
Okay. So the State Department has a book on her already. USCIS has a book on. Okay. So, how did you guys meet?
We met through a common friend.
Okay. Was she visiting in England, or did this friend help set you guys up, or what was the deal?
She just introduced her to me, and that's how we started talking, and we started liking each other. Our thinking matched, and I like the fact that like she's very down to earth person, very simple. So that's how we like fall in love.
What were the two questions that you got wrong at the embassy?
Two questions. One question was like, I can't remember. She asked me about my engagement.
Okay.
Where's your family members present? So she asked me for the photo. So I wasn't having those photos with me. And I was so nervous that I forgot to mention that I have those photos with me. And if you want that, I can send you later when I'm outside the embassy. But I didn't mention her that. So that was her first question. And that question made me very nervous that my interview went so bad.
When did you first meet your spouse or your fiance face to face?
2023.
Okay. And how long after you met your spouse did she file the I-129F?
We file next year, Feb.
So, right. But how many times did you see each other face to face? Like, did you see her one time and then after the time you saw her, she filed the fiance case?
Yes, one time, and then she filed the fiance case, and then during my interview, she was present there, waiting outside the embassy, and I forgot to mention that to the consular officer as well.
And so, what happened because you forgot to do that?
I thought that she was there to like give me a moral support during the interview.
Yeah. But did the officer ask where she was?
No, she did not.
Okay. So what I'm trying to get to is, it seems like you filed for engagement a fiance visa pretty fast.
Okay.
Right. So what I want to know is, okay, so there was a day where your fiance, I think you said February of 2024, filed the I-129F, right?
Right.
So how many days total in your whole life had you spent with your fiance face to face in the same city prior to her filing the fiance case?
Like as in together, staying together in the same city?
Yeah.
It's not much because she has little kids in the
Right.
US.
But you're not
So
answering my
she,
question.
like, total would be like 20 days, 25 days. Not in
So
one go. First time we lived together like 10 days. Then second time would be 3 days. And then then her third visit would be like another 10 days.
so those 3 visits all happened before she filed the I-129F.
No.
Okay.
So first, yeah,
You're
it's
not,
confusing.
you're not listening. You're a bad witness. This is why you messed up at the interview, because you're not
Yeah,
listening
yeah.
to questions. I'm asking very, very precise questions.
Okay.
So let's try it again.
Okay.
How many trips had she come to see you before she filed the I-129F?
One trip.
And how many days was that trip?
10 days.
10 days. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes.
you had seen each other and been in the same place on earth for a total of 10 days before she
Yes.
filed the okay. And how
Yes.
about now? How about now, as of today, right now? How many days total have you spent together? 30?
20.
20 total?
Yeah. And this time when she came with her daughter also.
And you got married.
Yes.
Why are you in such a hurry? Why in the world would you have someone file a petition saying they're going to marry you if you'd only spent 10 total days with them prior to them filing that application?
Okay. I mean, we are getting old. I just want to be with her.
Well, she's getting older faster than you.
Yes.
She's 10 years
Like,
older than you. So I don't think you want to bring up the age. That would be like the worst thing to bring up. So, I mean, I think this whole case has been handled very, very wrong. I think it's
okay.
been handled way too fast, way too
Okay.
loose. I think
Okay.
even if you're now legally married,
Yes.
I think the knives are out. I think the chances of you getting an immigrant visa to the United States are maybe 20%.
Okay. Okay.
I
All
mean,
right.
it's a 10-year age gap. You spent very little time together, and you seem
Yes.
very
No,
eager to come.
No, we are ready to spend time together, but the thing is that she has little kids, so she can't leave them, and I can't go there, obviously, because they won't give me the visa.
Yeah.
So that's the only reason why her days are very limited. She works there in the US. She gets very little time to see me. That's the only thing.
I totally understand. I totally believe you, but Donald Trump and his friends do not.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Thanks for
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Now here's a title that I like. No Kings. Hello.
Hello,
How are you?
I'm good.
Great.
I
What's up?
I have a case for you. A couple. One is trans in the Philippines, female trans, and the U.S. citizens here in America. They're looking to get married and eventually immigrate. They have like a 5-year age gap. They've seen each other a couple of times, like a 5-week period. They're looking to do something in January timeframe. I guess the choice is for them whether or not to get married remotely or do a K-1 visa.
Did you just hear that last call?
Yes.
That's the fundamental problem with fiance visas. They're very, very easy to deny and to put a fork in. So why can't the U.S. citizen go? Well, first of all, yeah, the U.S. citizen's been there before, right?
He's been there twice. They've been together a total of 5 weeks, and that's over the course of about 4 months.
So they've only known each other. They've only known each other existed for 4 months.
Up to this point, yeah.
Yeah, I would slow that down, man.
In terms of remote marriage and the U.S. citizen being in the Philippines with her, you have any qualms about that? Because if you consummated stuff.
I hate those cases. I hate virtual marriages. I think you're just handing them a reason to mess with you. I think this couple needs to spend a lot more time together before filing a case like this. You have to understand, Manila is like one of the worst embassies on earth, right? Literally one of the worst embassies on earth. When it comes to marriage-based cases, they're slow, they're mean, they're unfair, they're also very Catholic. So the trans issue will probably come up for them. So I think if you had the benefit of listening to that last caller, the cases are pretty similar, and I think you need to really nail down this relationship in a whole lot more detail than just 4 months of hanging out and then doing a virtual marriage. It's like, how can I do the bare minimum and get my case denied? That's really what it's sounding like to me. It sounds like the totally backwards approach.
How long do you think it should wait until?
I'd say a year and a half. And then I would do a face-to-face marriage in the Philippines. It's still going to be really hard. But I think this case, what you're saying right now, is a waste of time.
Okay. Is there any, in terms of collecting evidence and stuff, that trans person in the Philippines ID is going to be for the original gender, so I mean the original name. So they'll have to kind of use that as that in their documentation and stuff.
Yeah. That's okay. I mean, so what you're saying is that technically, based on original genders at birth, it would be a same-sex marriage, right?
Correct.
Yeah, that's okay. As of now, it's still legal.
And you would think the remote marriage I-130 case would be a better case than a K1.
No, you're not listening to me. I want the U.S. citizen to go there 2 or 3 more times, and at the end of the 3rd visit, get married face to face.
No, I'm hearing you. I mean, but okay. Either way, you want more time, whether it's an I-130 or a K1.
Yeah,
I'm just asking in terms of the 2 cases, which is stronger,
Okay, so first of all, I have a video on this. I also talk about this all the time, but I'll lay it out for you, okay? So when a fiance case gets approved by USCIS, it's valid for 4 months, for 120 days, right? So when the embassy doesn't like a case and it's a fiance case, they can just let it expire. And they say, oh, we decided in our own discretion to terminate this previously approved I-129F. They can't do that with an I-130. So I think filing an I-130, an I-129F generally is a bad idea unless it's the only way you can get the couple together. If you have the options and if the U.S. citizen is going to be going to the Philippines, then I say get married and go from there.
They'll have to do it remotely because they can't leave face to face there.
Who can't leave?
No, I didn't say that. They can't legally marry face to face in the Philippines by the Philippines government. They have to do a remote marriage.
I gotcha. Yeah, so that would be one reason why I would look past my rule. Yeah, that's right. You're right about that.
So that was kind of their choice, was either they do a K1 at the appropriate time or do the I-130 at the appropriate time. But and they're leaning towards the I-130. But
yeah, I would just skip the I-129F.
Yeah, what I think they want to do. So I just wasn't sure how you felt about remote marriages.
Generally, I'm against them, but yeah, like in Muslim countries or Philippines where it's not recognized, you sort of have to. But then remember, you have to have a trip there afterwards to show that it was consummated.
Well, yeah, their intent is to marry together there and like go on the honeymoon that way.
I gotcha. Oh, together. I see.
So that way,
yeah, that's good. I like that.
Yeah, so that's their plan. It's just
sorry.
The only thing downside is the time frame.
Sorry, it took me a while to understand what you were asking me.
Yeah.
As soon as I hear Philippines, I get mad because I know it just sucks.
Well, yeah, it's a challenging thing, and for them, and for any really LGBT
Yeah.
issues in these type of places, helps to do the workaround.
Yeah, and the Trump people aren't going to make it any easier. Yep. Thanks for the call.
You're welcome. Thanks.
All right. Let's see. Here she is. You guys ready for this? I see her. Thank you, Huli. It's our good friend Evelyn Aka. Evelyn, how are you?
Hi, Jim. I'm great. How are you?
Oh, good. How are things in Canada?
Well, they let me back into Canada after the conference, so I'm happy. It was great to see you, and I'm
It was
really
good to see you.
honored to be able to give a little bit of insight into your fabulous group of people.
Do you have a YouTube show? You should. If you don't, you'd be great on YouTube.
I don't. I have a podcast, but I think I will do that. I mean, you have such a great following. It's unbelievable what you've built. So I know you're helping lots of great people.
So let's talk about the people that I sometimes can't help. And so let's just walk through your history a little bit, because you yourself are an immigrant. Am I right?
Yes. I was born in Ghana, West Africa, and we moved to Vancouver in Canada when I was 5.
I want to ask you a question that might set things off on the wrong foot, but we had a big fight here on the show. Everyone was fighting over who has
jollof. Ghana, of course, has the best jollof in the world.
I figured you would say that.
Jollof rice started in Ghana, and then it went to Senegal, and then it went to Nigeria. But anyway, it's about who you ask, right?
Awesome. So how did you end up in Canada?
My dad, he left Ghana before I was born. My mom was pregnant, and he went to Germany, and he met some people. He went to Germany to go to school to become a Volkswagen Audi mechanic. And through, this is in early 70s, I think it was 70 before I was born in 71. And they helped him move to Vancouver. And back in the early days, you didn't need an immigration lawyer like you do now. It was such a simple, somebody, gives you a reference, you fill in some forms, and it's done. And that's how we ended up in Canada. So I met my dad actually when I was 5, because after a few years in Canada, he and my mom, she came, and then they came back to get me. So I really relate to the immigrant experience, because I know that absence of being together as a united family, for sure.
I'll say 2 things about that. Number one, it's just like my wife. Her dad was in England and then came to America, and she had seen him every now and then. She would remember times where he came to visit, but for the most part, she didn't really remember him for the first 7 years of her life. So very similar there. And then the other thing I would say, I really think that, I say this all the time on the show, if there's somebody who watches this show and is doing like their PhD on psychology or human relations, I would love to know about the effects of not being with one of your parents for a long time because of immigration. Because I think there'd be plenty of stories, and it'd be good to get data. And obviously, I'm sure it has an impact.
It does have an impact. I would love if somebody did that too, Jim, because I always encourage my clients, like even if they're, I have lots of Filipino people in Canada, and I always say, go home. If you're waiting, if you're a nanny, if you're a nurse and you haven't brought your family, go home every year, because and now technology has made it a little bit easier, right? With FaceTime and all the technology. But in the 70s and 80s, you were sending mail and packages and pictures.
Right. That's right.
And I remember cassette tapes. That's how old I am, that we would like record and, back and forth. So I do think it makes a difference with attachment and all of those things and those family dynamics. And maybe that's why I do the work I do. I don't know.
So did you physically go from Ghana to Canada?
Yes.
What was that like?
I barely remember it, Jim. It's almost like my life started when I got here.
Yeah.
So like I've done a lot of work, like you, personal work. And it's like, I don't remember much about 0 to 5, quite honestly. But I do remember faces. And when I go back to Ghana, I know the people that took care of me, aunts and uncles and my grandparents. But, and they all tell me about me as a child, as a 1 and 2 and 3-year-old, but I don't remember any of that. I literally remember meeting my dad at the airport when he arrived and thinking, who is this guy? And then a couple of weeks later, I left with him on the plane, and I was like, who is this guy? And my dad tells the story that they gave us our lunch or dinner, whatever the meal, and there was like salad. And I remember saying, why are they giving us this in Chui? I'm not a goat. I don't eat grass, because we don't eat salad like
Right.
North Americans do.
Right.
But that's really when my life started, when I moved to Canada. That's how it feels.
Do you have siblings?
My sister was born in Canada, in Vancouver. So we're 7 years apart, which is also that immigrant experiences. 7 years is basically a definitely different parenting, different experience. Yeah.
So he was born into a different family.
Totally different family and experience. I had the Ghanaian parents. She had the Canadian parents. That's what I always say.
And did you always know you wanted to be a lawyer, or how did that develop?
No, I didn't. I mean, my dad was a mechanic. My mom worked as like a nurse's aide and a porter in the hospital. Like they didn't have the formal education that, I was lucky to get. And that's why they moved to Canada and sacrificed like everybody else, every immigrant. It was only through, I think, undergrad, I started meeting some lawyers and judges. I met the first Black judge I knew. He was the first Black judge in Canada. And he became a mentor of mine in British Columbia. And that's kind of how it came about for me.
Were there many other kids with Black skin as you were growing up?
No, you can imagine in the 70s. I was always say I was the first and the only, and I was doing a lot of firsts. You know what I mean? Like I was the first one in my family to go to university. I was the first one to go to law school. My sister's a lawyer too, actually, even though I told her not to. But she's in-house, has a better life balance, I would say. But there weren't a lot. And so finding those mentors were so critical to me. And I was involved with the Black Law Students Association and would go to Toronto and be like, wow, look at all these Black professional lawyers, because we didn't have them when I was growing up.
I'm sure your parents were really proud of you when you graduated from college and from law school.
They are. Yeah. And now having a law firm, you know what it's like. It's up and down. And some days we think, why didn't I just go work for somebody else? But I actually love what I do most of the time.
So when did you finish law school?
97.
Me too. Okay, so we're the same.
Yeah, we're the same. We're the same generation. That's why I'm like, I relate to you, because we're the same generation. Our references are the same. Yep. And then I moved from Vancouver and articled in Toronto at Big Law, which is articling is like that year of internship. And I actually was a corporate lawyer before finding my way. Yeah.
How did you start doing immigration? I guess it was probably one case, I bet, and then that was it.
You know what? I moved to an accounting firm that had a law firm as a corporate lawyer, and then E&Y back in 2000. And then they couldn't do the corporate law because of the conflicts with, audit and everything. So I got asked if I wanted to move it to global mobility in their law firm. And that's how I started doing, and I was doing all business immigration for global businesses. That's how I started.
Bringing professionals to Canada. Into
Canada. Yep. From all over the world. Yep.
When did you start thinking of having your own firm?
I don't know. I mean, I made partner and they moved me to Calgary, which is where I am now, Calgary, Alberta. And then I decided I was going to have children. And so I actually adopted my kids on my own. I have a boy and a girl, twins. And that's when I was like, something has to change. I can't maintain the same lack of balance and be a good parent or a decent parent, a good parent. And so so that's when I started my firm 15 years ago.
And so you knew it was just going to be immigration?
Yes, because that's what I did.
And you had clients that came with you?
Yep, most of them. Because the law firm I was at is now a larger firm. It's called Denton's. They were acquired, but that's a global firm. There was nobody else doing what I was doing. And so it was a very kind of easy transition.
So for you guys that don't know, I used to have a podcast for lawyers, and Evelyn's been on that show too. So if you really want to get all the details on her lawyering stuff, look up Maximum Lawyer Evelyn Aka and you'll find it. So, okay. What do you spend most of your time doing these days?
I spend most of my time talking to people in the United States, whether they're American citizens or out of status or don't have status, that are trying to figure out how to move to Canada.
Okay, so let's take each of those in turn. Let's do a couple hypotheticals. Let's say there's someone who's here in the United States, they're undocumented, and they're sick of Donald Trump and they're sick of being scared, and they want to come to Calgary and apply for something. What would happen?
Okay, so the options really depend on the individual's educational background, because that's a big one. And so if they have education, like say they're undocumented and they're Mexican citizen, but they have an engineering degree, or they have some kind of technologist diploma, they can get a job offer in Canada, and we can get them into Canada under the equivalent of the NAFTA professional, which is the equivalent of the TN. So even if they're out of status, we can help them get into status in Canada. Okay, but that's based on citizenship. We also have a number of treaties that for Colombians, Peruvians, Panamanians, Chileans, Koreans, if they don't have status, but they have education, there are professional options for them to transfer or find jobs in Canada and then move. The other option would be investment. Some of our clients that we've gotten in the last year and a half, Jim, like one of them is a Honduran. He has a huge business, but he doesn't, 15 years, can't get status. He's done everything. $20 million a year business. He did the startup visa, and that's where $1 million gets put into an incubator investment, and he's now got work permit and permanent residence for his family because he has money, but he can't get status. So those people with education and money, lots of options. The struggle is for those that don't have. So then if they speak French, like I've been hearing from obviously a lot of Haitians under TPS situation, if they speak French, there's even a program for Francophone mobility where they can be expedited if they can find an employer because of the Francophone language. So
Does it have to be in Quebec or anywhere in the country?
No, it's anywhere but Quebec because they're trying to expand Francophone language across the country.
Oh, wow.
So, but it can't be Creole. Like this is the thing. So those that they have to speak French, as in they went to school in Haiti and they have that actual, professional language ability, and they can do a test and they can get a job offer doing anything. It streamlines the employer process for them to get to Canada and probably take about 3 months to get a work permit. And they can get processed at the Canadian consulates in the US.
That's nice.
Yeah.
And so do people with skills have to have an employer, or are there ways to self-petition?
There's no way to self-petition. That's I know, unless, it used to be till before February, if they had a business and they wanted to set up a business. I do this every day for Americans who own businesses, lawyers even. We can incorporate you in Canada, transfer you, and you can come in as your own L1, essentially, intercompany transfer executive. We do this every day. And we used to be able to do it even for people from Nigeria and other citizenships. But now the government is saying, if you're not American, you have to have your operation in 2 countries. So that limits it for most people. You have to say you're operating in Colombia and the US, and then we can do the transfer. So it's limited that option for sure.
Are immigration rates in Canada increasing or decreasing?
Oh my goodness. They are tightening. I would say they're decreasing a little bit, but they're also focused on who they want right now. So it's very occupation specific. So nurses, people in healthcare, there's a whole healthcare stream. So again, if people have healthcare backgrounds and they don't have status in the States, there are options for them to apply for permanent residence, and they're getting chosen over other professionals because we need them. Them and the Francophones are the priorities right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
So when you become a resident, is there a path, I assume, to citizenship?
Absolutely. So most people come in as workers. You can even come as a student. We're helping some people right now, Haitians that want to go to school, that've gotten into school and have the funds to go to school. They have the stream of school, postgraduate work permit, permanent residence. Same with worker. You can become a permanent resident, and citizenship is after 3 years as a permanent resident. So it's much faster than in the US generally to become a permanent resident or a green card holder and then become naturalized.
Is there much talk in Canada about securing the borders, like keeping people out?
Not at all compared to the US.
Right.
And the only reason we're securing a little bit more is because of Donald Trump saying this is going to affect our tariffs and blah, blah, blah. So they did a little bit and put some money into it, but our border guards don't have guns. It's not tighter, but they're just doing a little bit more to reflect to the US that we're also taking care of things like drugs and stuff crossing the border, which is, again, very minor, but it became a trade issue. And so we've responded to that.
Do you do much stuff? So I actually had a buddy who he worked for, on the back of appliances it says like UL, like he would certify. So he worked for that company, and he went across the border in Canada, I think up in Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's going to Winnipeg, and he got busted for working. So he actually got deported from Canada, which I thought was funny. Is that a big thing?
Well, it sounds like his employer didn't prepare him. Like I work at ACA Law. We do both corporate and personal immigration. And I mean, if you're an employer, you can't just send somebody with nothing. I always tell them, like, you have to give them at least a business visitor letter. We do business visitor after sales service. He could have been doing that kind of work.
It is what he was doing.
And he just needed the paperwork. So if he comes in with nothing, then yeah, they're going to send him back. It's about preparing properly. You know that too, right?
Yeah. And now that I'm thinking about it, I've heard of 2 different people who had DUIs in the United States, US citizens, and weren't able to get to Canada. Could you talk about that a little bit?
Absolutely. This is huge because in Canada, DUIs are our issue. And in the US, cannabis and drugs are your issue in terms of inadmissibility, right? So, because now it's legal across the country for cannabis. But if you have a DUI, if you have one that was 10 years or longer, you can get what's called implied status or deemed rehabilitation, which means you can come to the border so long as you bring everything with you and you show them you only have one thing, your FBI certificate only says one thing, it was long. They have the option right then and there to discretionarily just make it go away. But if it's more recent and you need to come in, you need to apply for a temporary resident permit. It's like a visa waiver so you can come in. So we have a lot of people who want to do Alaskan cruises and they're like, oh my God, I have to go through Vancouver and I have a DUI from 3 years ago. And I say, okay, we got to get that temporary resident permit right now so that 6 months from now, when you go to Alaska, it's not going to affect your ability to get into the country and you're not going to ruin your vacation.
One of the many bad things that Donald Trump is doing right now, besides making it hard for people like your Honduran client to get status, is when it comes to international students. I think international students bring so much value to the countries that they go to, and they obviously start companies and employ a lot of people. Here in St. Louis, we're seeing about a 22% drop in international students in the area, which I think is going to, frankly, bankrupt one of the universities here. We really relied on international students. So how is that up in Canada?
It's exactly the same. Some of the schools, Jim, have closed. Like they're always questionable schools that are not like U of T and, McGill. But there's some of those that were attracting people from India and other countries, and they were like pseudo schools, colleges. Some of them have shut down completely because the government went after them and said, these are not really legitimate. They don't feel like legitimate programs. And so they are tightening down. But also the students got blamed for the housing crisis here, and they just became the scapegoats. All of a sudden, we don't have housing because we have students. And instead of dealing with the housing issue across the country because our population is growing, they blame the international students. And so they are making it harder for them to come. They've put in more barriers to them. The pricing requirements are higher, and they have to have more money. Now you have to have show $25,000 in your bank account, separate from tuition, because some of them weren't going to school, Jim, because they couldn't afford housing. And so then they were going to work under the table, where you can work like 24 hours a week off campus here in Canada. If you're in a full-time program, they were working full-time. So the government has really tightened down on that, and that's affecting all universities across the country.
Is immigration in Toronto different than where you are in Calgary? Are there different? I mean, I know it's the same rules, but is it sort of a different feel?
I do think so. I mean, I always feel bad when somebody comes to Ontario and they go to a college and then they look and they see that the provincial nominee programs, which is the permanent residence stream, very limited. So some students are going to school in Ontario or Quebec, and then they realize if they don't speak French, they'll never get permanent residence in Quebec. So now they have to go to Alberta or British Columbia or the East Coast, where they definitely need people, and start a career there before they can become permanent residents. So definitely I want people to always think about where they go, because where you end up, will affect your long-term prospects for permanent residence. And it is easier, in quotes, in British Columbia or Alberta or Nova Scotia or PEI, because they have streams that are more available than just the federal permanent residence process, we have provincial programs where the province can choose the immigrants based on what they want. So it gives you 2 options to get permanent residence.
So like in Calgary, if they want more like people to work outside and stuff.
Yeah, there's regional rural programs. If you want to live in small town, not in Calgary, but small town Alberta, there are programs that you could get permanent residence that way. And same as in British Columbia.
That's really neat. That's really neat.
Yeah, because everybody lives like close to the border, right? Like the 49th parallel. And so those people that want to be further north, even nurses, teachers, they make more if you come in that way because you're living in the north. And it's a little bit remote, but you get your permanent residence. And once you get it, you don't have to stay there. You can move wherever you want once you're a permanent resident. So there are mobility freedoms once you're a permanent resident.
Is there anything that you want to tell our listeners about Canada and immigration that we haven't already talked about? I want to ask you a little bit about family, and then it looks like somebody actually has a question for you.
Okay. Do you want to do the question?
Yeah, sure. Hello, question for Evelyn. What's your question?
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Thank you for your program and thanks, Jean, that create this opportunity. The question is that my daughter is a Canadian citizen. My son applied for U.S. green card for her in 2016, and she traveled to U.S. 2 times. But last year, when she applied for visiting visa, she was denied. After becoming a Canadian citizen, again, they didn't allow her to enter U.S. just for visiting us. Is there any wrong with that, although she is a Canadian citizen?
It sounds like the application for the green card is affecting their sense about whether or not she has a visitor intention. Is that still out there?
Yeah.
That's probably why. I mean, it shouldn't affect it because as a Canadian citizen, obviously before she became a citizen of Canada, maybe they're concerned. But the fact that it's still out there, they're questioning her immigrant intention, unfortunately. How far along are you on that green card process? Do you know?
About 8 years.
So you got a long way to go. It's another 12. Yeah.
So should I ask my son just withdraw that application?
Well, so I'm not at the office right now, but when sorry to interrupt, Evelyn. When I'm at the office, I have a bell, and she's rung the bell, and you can't unring the bell. So I would say keep going with it, and then just try again.
Yeah, I would say that. And I don't know what border she went through or what airline. And you also have to show, maybe she have to put a package together that shows she has property, she has a job to go back to,
exactly.
She has family. Like you don't just, like I can fly and say, I'm going to a conference, I'm going to go to Disneyland. But because of her application, we have to provide more information to show them that her intention is like quick visit back because she's got all these obligations. And so I would try again, but you probably want to make sure you work with a lawyer, whether it's me or anybody else, to package her properly so she can prove to them her intention is to return.
Okay, I will call you back.
Anytime.
Thank you,
so
Jim.
much.
Thank you very much.
Of course.
One thing I just wanted to say, Jim, is there's other ways for people to get opportunities. It's called the labor market impact assessment, which means you have to find a job. And of course, that's the hardest thing in immigration because we don't find jobs for people like yourself. But if they have education and they have opportunities and a good resume, even if they're out of status, they find an employer in Canada, we can do what's called a labor market impact assessment. And probably in 4 to 6 months, they can come to Canada. It's a foreign worker approval process. And if most employers, they only do it because they're looking for somebody with unique experience or a background that they can't find. But employers do it every day because we still have a small labor market and we have an aging population. We need truck drivers, construction, trades. You know, they're willing to wait for those kinds of people. And of course, medical people, people that have unique experience. So if those people are out there, they should start looking for jobs on the Canadian Job Bank. It's called the Canada Job Bank, plus all the other websites like Indeed.ca, all of them, and just apply. And you never know, if an employer wants you, they will wait for you. We just had a physio get a job here in Canada with a physiotherapist clinic because they needed him and they were prepared to wait.
What is your favorite thing about doing immigration?
I always say I practice happy law, and I have trademarked that in Canada because 95% of the time, because we screen our clients too, we are successful and we make a difference. And just like you create legacy. And I love it when my clients come back and say, remember me 15 years ago? Now I have a Canadian kid and this and that, and I've started a business. And they come back and they keep us close. It just makes me happy to know that I've changed somebody's life, whether it's for a business reason or a personal family, so they could be united with their children. It helps me sleep at night knowing that I've made a difference.
That's awesome. And that's a great way to end, because we're not practicing a lot of happy law here right now down in the States. But Evelyn, if people want to get a hold of you, tell them all the ways to find you.
Well, you've got it scrolling, which I really appreciate. I'm so
Oh, good.
grateful, Jim, for the opportunity. Just ACA Business Immigration Law. You can call us, reach out to us. My team will see if you are fit for us and if we are fit for you. And I just want to thank you, Jim, and your team so much for the opportunity.
Awesome.
And anytime you want to come back on my show or
Yeah.
come to Canada, in case you need
Yeah.
to move to Canada.
Well, I want to go to Banff is where I really want
Well,
to
you need to come and see me. And
Yeah.
if you want to move to Canada, I can
Yeah.
set you up.
Awesome. Thanks, Evelyn. Have a
Take
good
care.
day. Okay,
Take
bye-bye.
care. Bye-bye, everyone.
Isn't she lovely? I just saw Evelyn down in Nashville last week when I was doing my Chris Farley impersonation. Oh, did I tell you guys about my Chris Farley impersonation? Oh, when the video comes out, I'll play it for you. But basically, I was living in a van down by the river, and it was really fun. I had fun with my presentation, and I had the jacket and the tie and the greasy hair. It was a lot of fun. So, all right, probably got time for one or two quick questions. Let's go to Dio Strong. Hello.
Hello, Sir Jim.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Sir, yeah, thank you for choosing me. I just want to ask questions. And can I tell a little bit background?
Of course.
Yeah, because this coming Monday, I'm gonna having an interview for our green card for my second wife. Um, the problem is 2019, I applied for C1 visa, US visa, because I was working in Bermuda Islands. So I got approved, but there's a question over there that it says, "Have you been arrested before?" I because I don't know. I thought that question is pertaining to the Bermuda, so I said no. But I got arrested. I have a case before in my home country, but it was dismissed.
Yeah, that's called a misrepresentation.
Yeah, and they grant my US visa, and then after like 1 year, I upgraded for B1 B2 visa, and then they approve it again.
So there's two applications where you didn't disclose your arrest.
Yeah,
Okay.
because I really don't know that the question is pertaining to.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yes, sir.
When you go to your immigration interview, don't say
Mhm.
that.
Okay.
No one's going to believe that. It's just going to piss them off.
Yeah. So what should if they ask me what should I say? Because when I came here in the US 2022, I met for a vacation. I met my ex-girlfriend here, but I don't know that she was here. We get married, but we get divorced, and then my green card was denied. And right now I have my second wife after like almost 2 years after my divorce. We get married, and we're having a interview this coming Monday. So I don't know what should I say if they ask me.
Are you telling me that you're planning on going to this interview without a lawyer?
No, I asked a lawyer, and then he said to me that yeah, I can go with you, but don't say it because first of all, in the first place, you didn't say it when you're getting your visa, so you're gonna get denied. But when I asked him, what should I do if they ask me, and then he don't say nothing.
So he sort of left you out to dry.
Yeah.
You need to find a different attorney. You should not go to that interview without a lawyer.
Yeah, okay. And then there's like a one attorney, and I called them, and then they said, I can go with you, but if they ask you that question, Just tell them no, and then you forgot it because it's been a long time ago.
That's called lying. That makes it
Yeah,
even
I
worse.
know.
So,
And then
so here's the bigger question. Well, did a lawyer
yeah,
file this case, or did you file this case without a lawyer?
when I getting my visa, only me because yeah, and then
No,
when my
this case now, the case you have the interview on Monday, did a lawyer file it, or did you file it?
this case, this is like a second case of my marriage. The first uh I found people they called it paralegal. Yeah, they filed my case, but when I watch your videos, and then you said that you need to disclose your your previous case,
Right.
and yeah, that's where I went to the lawyer, and then they checked my case, and then they said, yeah, we can go with you, but don't tell it. Just they say it that you forgot it. So what should I do if my green card would get denied?
So here's my question.
Yeah.
Your spouse, your current spouse, are they
Yes, sir.
a healthy person? Do they have difficulties, any psychological, medical, mental, financial difficulties?
Um, she was living with herself, with me, and her father, she don't like her anymore. And then he have a brother in Virginia, but the, she can't go there because he have a family also, so she's alone.
Right, but lots of okay, we need to think about a couple of things. Number one, do not go to that interview without an attorney,
Okay, sir.
and tell the truth. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, the only way, and see, the reason I asked if a lawyer filed this case, and of course it was a paralegal, because paralegal just wants your money. They don't care
Yes,
about
sir.
they don't care about whether or not it's a good idea for you to file the case, right? So there's a perfect
Yeah.
example of the difference between working with an attorney who cares about your best interest versus a paralegal who just wants whatever you paid them to file.
Okay, sir.
Anyone can file that case. That's the easy part. Getting the case on file is easy, and it takes no intellectual strength.
Yeah.
Okay. So the question that I would have asked and spent time talking about before we filed this case is, would your spouse suffer exceptional hardship if you were sent back to the Philippines? Right?
Oh yes, yes, sir. Because she can't pay um, like place to stay because she was working as a caregiver only.
Right. So that's a little bit of hardship, but you have to show more hardship.
Also, I'm sorry. Also, I have a son from my previous wife that I was giving child support.
Okay, so that's good. So to me, this is a case, and here's one other thing. I want you to, before I forget, I want you to review your 485.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yeah.
I bet you $1,000 that the paralegal did not answer there's questions on there about whether you ever lied or gave any false information to a U.S. government official to get a visa, and I'm sure they put no, and they should have put yes.
Yeah, they put all no. And
Yeah.
also uh I need to add that I told them that I work in the Navy in the Philippines, and then they said, have you there's a question there, have you have a military training or something? They said no. And
Yeah.
then it's too late, and then they filed it already when they gave the copy to me.
Yeah.
So
I
I
would
was
I would I would suggest that you spend tomorrow trying to find an immigration lawyer where you live to help you write a letter to postpone your interview because you are not ready. This all needs to be cleaned up. And if you go on Monday, you're going to get nailed. They're going to be out for you.
yeah.
You're in big trouble.
Oh my
Big
God.
trouble.
So if you're gonna handle my case, sir, how much it will be cost? Because the attorney that I was talking that he gonna go with us on Monday. He said just go, and then um you you will get denied because you just said no on the first place. You're getting visa, so we will just gonna file a waiver that hardship. That's what he was telling me. So, but I
Yeah,
really don't.
that's what needs to happen. But
Yeah.
also, we need to make sure that you're doing damage by filing this case. You're doing damage by what you say to the
Yeah.
officer on Monday.
Yeah.
You know, not going there with someone who knows what they're doing. Okay, I'll tell you what. I will try to help you. I'm not going to take this case most likely. I will try to help you get ready for Monday. If
Okay.
you email me and tell me that you were on the show with me, okay?
Okay, sir. Yeah.
All right, thanks for the call.
Okay, sir. What email, sir?
info@hackingimmigrationlaw.com. It's on the bottom of the screen.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Have a good day, sir.
Okay,
Okay,
you
thank
got it. Juli, are you okay to stay around a little bit longer? Are you okay? Okay, let's take a couple more. True Wife, hello.
Hi, Jim.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. What's up?
Nothing much. Just wanted to first I start out saying thank you to all that you do, and I also want to give a special thank you to everyone who calls in and asks so many amazing questions. This has led to my husband and I filing our I-130 and I-485 case independently. That happened in late May, and just last week we had our interview, and we were approved within 3 days.
Nice.
An extra shout out because he is an Iranian man.
Wow.
He filed for asylum. He was sitting on asylum for over 10 years. And the fact that it happened so quickly, I think his attention to detail with listening to you and everybody else who called, it allowed us to really flesh through all the questions and concerns that we have.
Fuck yeah. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Thank you. So since approval, we just had some simple questions that we wanted to ask.
Yeah.
How do we withdraw the asylum application, and what should the letter say?
So, his case is pending at an asylum office. Do you know which one it is?
It should be Newark, New Jersey.
Sure. Okay. So you're going to send a letter by Federal Express, and the letter is going to say, and it's going to have his receipt notice attached or something that has his case number on it, and say, please see attached. My name is Joe Blow. I applied for asylum, as you know, back in 2015. You lazy bastards never got around to conducting my interview, but screw all of you because I married a U.S. citizen and now I have my green card. Like, that's not what you say, but you can say that nicely.
Yes, of course.
Say, please find enclosed my green card. I am now a lawful permanent resident. I obtained it through marriage. I no longer need my asylum case. I ask that you please withdraw it as it is now moot because I am a lawful permanent resident. And I would put that in bold because sometimes when people withdraw their asylum case, USCIS thinks that they should be sent to removal, and even though he has his green card. So you need to make it sort of clear for them, but it should be fine.
Okay, perfect. And then should this be done after he's received the green card, or just we could do it as soon as now?
Yep. Wait until he gets his green card.
Okay, perfect. And then the next question that I had is in regards to name change. I haven't changed my last name because we wanted to make sure we followed your advice of keeping everything the same through the application process. Is it okay to do it now, or should we wait until the I-751 or even the N-400 is filed?
No, you can do what you're not. The U.S. citizen can do it whenever they want. It's the national that we worry about.
Oh, okay, perfect. And then I think my final question is in regards to renewing his Iranian passport once he withdraws. Do you think there are any risks to that?
Yeah, so I would not do that. That's it. So this is the problem. There's a gap, right? So if he had gone ahead with his asylum case and it got approved, then he would get what's called a refugee travel document.
Yes.
So when you apply for asylum, you're saying that it's not safe for you to avail yourself of any of the pleasures of being a citizen of that country, which would include your passport. So from an immigration standpoint, the safest thing to do would be to not renew that passport and just wait till it becomes a U.S. citizen. That would be the best thing to do. And to not travel outside the United States for the next 3 years. I don't want him traveling anyway because he's not a U.S. citizen, but From a purely immigration standpoint, it'd be better to wait until he gets his citizenship and travel than to, and then second to that is if he's going to travel on the passport he already has, that's cool. But I really don't want him applying to get a new passport after having applied for asylum from that country.
Okay, yes, because it's been 10 years, so I don't even think he could utilize it now. So then renewing is not an option, I guess.
Okay.
And then my final question, well, I guess now it might not be relevant, but is there a benefit to filing or for a reentry permit, the I-327?
A reentry permit is filed on an I-131.
Oh, okay.
That's only if you're going to be outside the United States for more than 2 years, but he wants to become a citizen, right?
Yes.
So he shouldn't be gone. He shouldn't go anywhere, but he shouldn't go that long at all if he's going to leave. And
Okay.
he should only travel with you.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
That sounds perfect. Thank you very much.
All right. Congrats.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you. All right. Let's go to Terry and then we'll call it a day. Hello, Terry.
Good afternoon, Jim. Could you hear me?
Yes.
All right. I'm a U.S. citizen, born and raised in Miami, Florida. I have 2 I-130s pending for my wife and my stepdaughter. It's going on about 20 months. 8 months into filing, they sent me for a biometric here in Miami. And on to now, from September of last year to now, the case is still being processed by USCIS. Is that normal? They said that I can ask questions on November 18th, 2025.
The reason they sent you for biometrics is because they think you might have an Adam Walsh Act violation. Do you know what that is?
The only thing that I've in my previous marriage, that my ex-wife filed with the child services for sexual harassment, sexual molestation on my daughter. They've only opened cases and false allegations. They never fingerprinted me. They never arrested me. They never detained me. It was just allegations.
How long ago was that?
The first case was back in June of 2023, and then they closed it out in January 2024. And then in November of 2024, she opened another one, and that one is still pending.
That's why your I-130 hasn't been approved, because if it's still open, you are not eligible to sponsor someone for an I-130.
Okay, and then every time I check with them, they say it's just still being processed by the state attorney. So that's why they just have me just waiting.
So you need to hire the most expensive criminal defense attorney you can afford down in Florida. I know a good one. Adam Rossin is his name. I don't know how expensive he is, but he's a good lawyer. You should talk to him about trying to get those charges closed out. Otherwise, I think your new spouse and stepchild are not coming.
Okay, but the thing is, when they sent me for the biometrics, the first case was closed out because that was closed out in January of 2024. They sent me for the biometrics in September of 2024. And then the other case was opened back in November of 2024.
Right. But I think the first case in and of itself, even as closed out, if you want to overcome this and get the I-130 approved, you're going to have to show them and walk them. You can't just show up for biometrics and hope they figure that shit out. You need to document that this stuff was all BS and that it was dropped and that nothing in both cases are resolved. Otherwise, they're just going to sit on the I-130.
But the thing is, to the current attorney that I have, when she called in to question why they biometrics me, they were never, when she asked to go up the chain of command, they couldn't tell her why.
I just told you why.
Okay.
That's exactly why. The only time a U.S. citizen on an overseas case or a case here in the United States ever gets called in on a marriage or fiance case is because they think the U.S. citizen is ineligible to sponsor a spouse or child because of the Adam Walsh Act.
Okay.
All right.
And could you give me back the attorney that you referred to for the criminal defense? So how do you spell his last name?
Yeah, hold on. I'm going to find it right now. So he's in Fort Lauderdale. That's not far from you, is it?
No, it's just an hour away.
Adam Rossin, Rossen, Rossin Law Firm. And you can tell him that you talked to me, and I can even talk to him once you talk to him.
Okay, Jim. All right, so I just said they're just going to keep giving me the runaround until I get that closed out, huh?
Yep. And even after you get it closed out, you've got to walk them through why you're not subject to Adam Walsh, even after it's closed out. So just showing up fingerprints and hoping everything works out, that's the bare minimum. But you need someone to put together a brief that says Terry's not subject to Adam Walsh. Case number 1 got dropped. Case number 2 got dropped, and show them.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Thank you very much, Jim.
Bye,
Appreciate it.
Taylor. Yep. Huli, thanks for your help.
No, you're welcome.
I appreciate it. I'll see you later, huh? We'll wrap up the show.
We're wrapping up. Bye, everyone. Hey, we have a
What'd you say?
don't forget, everyone, show Friday at 3 p.m.
Oh, yes. Yes, thank you. We have a show on Friday at 3:00 episode. I think I might move that to 2. We'll see. I might move that to 2, but
Okay.
probably 3
Follow
o'clock.
us
Yeah.
on YouTube, guys,
Yeah.
and you get
Yeah.
updated.
Don't forget, November 1st, no more text. So we'll get that landing page set up. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Huli. Thanks for your help.
Bye.
I'm great about that, other than trying to help people who are in the state of